Part of what is important in this election is really not only turning the page, but closing the page and the chapter on an era that suggests that Americans are divided.
Kamala then produced another word salad when asked about transgender rights, where she avoided the question and slammed Donald Trump in.
On the question of your beliefs, what you believe in, let me ask you this question very broadly speaking here.
Sure.
Do you believe that transgender Americans should have access to gender-affirming care in this country?
I believe we should follow the law. I mean, I think you're probably pointing to the fact that Donald Trump's campaign has spent tens of millions of dollars.
They're trying to define you on this.
Yes,
I'm asking you to define yourself, though. Just broadly speaking, what is your value? Do you believe they should have that access?
I believe that people, as the law states, even on this issue about federal law, that is a decision that doctors will make in terms of what is medically necessary. I'm not going to put myself in the position of a doctor, but let's also understand that Donald Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads to talk about two cases, to distract from the fact that his policy and plan is also to take away the Affordable Care Act, which provides health care for tens of millions of people in our country. That his plan is to undo the $35 a month cap on insulin that impacts millions of seniors in our country. That his plan is to do away with the $2,000 cap on prescription medication, the annual cap.
And again, during her town hall with Liz Cheney, Kamala Harris couldn't help but serve up another messy word.
We cannot despair. We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
We have to tap into and rejoice, frankly, in the spirit of who we are as Americans. And we are an ambitious people. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We are optimistic by nature. And we, I think, value certain qualities in our leaders.
I'd love to know what sort of dressing goes with that kind of word salad, but that original answer, well, they showed that on CBS's Face the Nation Sunday morning as a preview, a teaser for that evening's 60 Minutes, which was going to have the whole interview. But then something happened. Somehow, between the two programs, between the morning news show and 60 Minutes, something changed. Have a look at what went to air in the official 60 Minutes interview.
It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Well, what just happened there? That was a whole different answer. It was tighter, more coherent, potentially even approaching the level of competent. Okay, let's not go that far, but CBS still hasn't explained what happened here, but it appears from where I sit that the network decided to recut that first bit of the interview I showed you and maybe take words from another part of the sit-down just to make Kamala Harris look better.
Kamala Harris also sat down with MSNBC's Reverend Al Sharpton and couldn't help but roll out a new word salad.
The President of the United States must set a standard, not only for our nation, but understanding the standard that we as a nation must set for the world. You know, we as representing the United States of America walk into rooms around the world with the earned and self-appointed authority to talk about the importance of democracy, rule of law, and have been thought of as a role model, imperfect though we may be, but a role model of what it means to be committed to certain standards. including international rules and norms, but also standards of decorum.
And perhaps Kamala's worst ever word salad was on 60 Minutes, where they were forced to edit out the confused dialogue to make the interview palatable and polished, attracting criticism from Donald Trump and his supporters, reveals Sky News host James Morrow.
CBS's 60 Minutes, once one of the most respected institutions in American television journalism, was caught out doing something that was not only unethical, but frankly, in my opinion, insane. You see, they had a little problem. They did a sit-down interview with Kamala Harris. And then they looked at the tape and quickly discovered what you and I both know, which is namely, she's not all that bright. Or at least she can't really form a coherent, complex sentence. Now, let's look at this here. This here is a clip from the interview of Kamala Harris's original answer to a question about Benjamin Netanyahu and peace in the Middle East.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of